Discover the incredible touching journey of the man whose live stream death revealed hidden love. Jake Lawson had always been a hard man, wearing his rough hands like badges of honor. As a 38-year-old handyman in a small town, he wrestled with roofs, mended faucets, and spent countless hours working under the unforgiving sun. Yet, under that weathered exterior lay a heart that beat fiercely for his 10-year-old son, Tommy. Every day was a battle against the weight of his father's disapproval and the nagging feeling that he wasn't enough. Raised in a world where toughness was held in high regard, Jake learned early on that vulnerability was a sign of weakness. But hidden beneath the layers of pride was a longing to be seen, truly seen for the man he had become. One day, after an exhausting afternoon fixing a roof, Jake had a lightbulb moment. What if I shared my life with others? He thought as he wiped his brow, his heart racing with both hope and fear. He decided to start live streaming his daily routine, using the platform as a way to supplement his income. At first, it was just a handful of locals tuning in to watch the handyman at work. But soon, as he showcased every repair and every moment spent in the community, his following began to grow. He didn't hold back. He shared stories about his struggles, his triumphs, and the laughter shared with neighbors. People connected with him as he showcased the love he poured into his work, revealing the man behind the tool belt. Late-night talks with Tommy about the importance of honesty and hard work struck a chord with viewers, bringing a sense of warmth and familiarity to homes across the nation. They saw not just a handyman but a devoted father standing against life's trials with integrity, but lurking in shadows was a threat even greater than his father's harsh judgments, his own declining health. Jake felt it creeping in, like a thief in the night. He hid it from Tommy, wanting to be a pillar of strength for his son. The pain in his chest grew sharper with each passing day, yet he pushed through, pushing back his worries as much as he pushed past leaky roofs and stubborn nails. As his followers grew, so did the pressure to keep airing his everyday life. What began as a way to earn extra income morphed into a lifeline where his true nature flourished. Days turned into weeks, and on a fateful Sunday, as the sun dipped low, he felt a shift. This would be his final live stream, he sensed it deep in his bones. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, he said, voice trembling as he looked at the camera. He swallowed hard, his heart racing, before pouring his heart out to all who were watching. Tears glistened in his eyes as he spoke of love, community, and family. He recounted every act of kindness from neighbors who offered their help and every moment shared with Tommy that made it all worth it. He urged them all to cherish their loved ones, for life could be unpredictable and fleeting. As the live stream drew to a close, the chat erupted with heartfelt messages of support and love. Jake felt the warmth of his community wrap around him as if they were superheroes rising to the challenge. But a haunting question lingered. Would his genuine expression of love be enough to mend the broken ties with his estranged family? Would they rally to save him, allowing his legacy to echo in the hearts of all he had touched? The screen faded, leaving the audience longing for more, hearts racing as they anticipated the next chapter of this incredible journey. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows that danced lightly across Jake's front yard. He sat on the porch, breathing in the crisp evening air, feeling both tranquil and unsettled. His phone buzzed by his side, notifications pouring in from the live stream, a wave of love and support that swelled like the tide. Each word, each kind message settled deep into his heart, a comforting balm against the rawness of his emotions, but it was also a reminder of the fragility of everything he clung to. Tommy ran around the yard, laughter spilling from his lips as the last rays of sunlight glinted off his wild hair. Jake's heart swelled and ached all at once. He wanted to freeze this moment in time, to hold on tight, yet the weight of his illness loomed, casting a shadow even on the brightest of days. "Hey Dad!" Tommy called, his voice bright as he leaped to the porch steps. "Can we build that treehouse tomorrow? Jake smiled, forcing the warmth in his chest to show on his face. Of course, buddy. We'll make it the best treehouse this town has ever seen, he replied, trying to fight back the uncertainty that lodged deep within him. Their plans for the treehouse were dreams that painted a brighter future, a stability Jake wanted so desperately to provide. Suddenly, the phone buzzed again. With a quick glance, Jake saw a new comment flash across the screen. It was from an old acquaintance, someone who hadn't reached out in years. Just heard about your stream. Thinking of you, Jake. The sentiment struck him like a bolt of electricity. After all this time, someone remembered him. It was a gentle reminder that in this journey of sharing, there was healing, perhaps even a chance for mended ties with his estranged family. That night, Tommy curled up beside him on the couch, a favorite storybook in hand. Jake carefully crafted his voice, transforming into different characters, their laughter filling the room, drowning out the tension that filled his mind. He reveled in those moments but couldn't shake the thought that these were fleeting. Why did you start streaming, Dad? Tommy asked, his wide eyes fixed on Jake's face. Jake hesitated. Well, I wanted to show people how hard work can pay off. Tommy furrowed his brow. But you're already the best handyman I know. Jake's heart twisted. His son saw him. Truly saw him, and there was magic in that understanding. Thanks, Tommy. But I also wanted to share love and lessons, things that matter most. As they finished reading, Jake noticed the weight of fatigue pulling on his eyelids. The pain in his chest felt like a distant rumble of thunder, a warning he couldn't ignore. The next morning brought a chill, one that seemed to seep into the walls of their home. Tommy was already up, tinkering with a craft project at the table. Look, Dad. I'm building a model treehouse. He shouted, pride radiating off him. With each grin Tommy flashed, Jake felt a knot tighten in his chest. Was he strong enough to fight for this? To give Tommy the life he dreamed of, not just survive. As the day wore on, with chores and simple moments shared, Jake began to wonder about his estranged family again. Did they know how much he had changed? Could they forgive him? The thought of reaching out felt daunting but alive, a flicker of hope that dared to spark within him. Just as he was about to voice those thoughts, the doorbell rang. Should he answer? His heart raced with trepidation. Was this the moment everything could change, the moment he faced the possibility of reconciliation? Jake steeled himself, unsure if he had the strength to open that door, knowing it could either welcome new beginnings or unearth old wounds. Jake's pulse thudded in his ears as he stood frozen in place, the doorbell's chime echoing like a countdown in his mind. Dad? Are you going to get it? Tommy leaned closer, his curiosity mingling with excitement. He had no idea what was on the other side of that door. Jake took a deep breath and gripped the doorknob, his hand trembling slightly. What if it was someone from his past? Someone who'd bring back memories he wasn't ready to face. Or worse yet, what if it was nobody at all? With a resolute twist, he opened the door. Standing there, framed by the warm glow of the sun, was a figure he hadn't seen in years. It was Kate, his sister. Her hair had grayed at the temples, but her wide brown eyes still sparkled with the same warmth that had always welcomed him home after a hard day's work. Jake, she breathed, the word barely escaping her lips as her gaze darted past him to Tommy. Kate. Jake felt his voice falter, a mix of surprise and hope swelling in his chest. What are you doing here? She stepped forward, hesitant, her eyes glistening. I saw your stream. Heard everything. I needed to come. Tommy sidled closer to Jake, looking up at this unfamiliar woman. Who are you? She's my sister, Jake said, feeling the weight of the word lift a small piece of the burden he had been carrying. For years, the rift had seemed insurmountable. Kate knelt to Tommy's level. And you must be Tommy, she said, her voice soft and inviting. Your dad has told me so much about you. As awkwardness settled in the space between them, Jake felt his heart flutter. Memories of laughter, of childhood games, sprang vividly to mind. The tender connection he once had with his sister resurfaced, but it was smothered by years of silence and hurt. "Look, I know this is sudden. I just thought maybe we could talk." Kate's voice quivered slightly as she caught Jake's gaze. "I don't know if I'm ready for this," Jake admitted, shaking his head. "After everything, you can't keep hiding, Jake. You've shared your story with the world. Maybe it's time to share it with your family too." Funny how her words struck a chord. From the moment he had started streaming, Jake had hoped to open hearts and build bridges, not just for others but for himself too. Tommy tugged on Jake's shirt. "Can we talk about treehouses later? I want to hear what Aunt Kate has to say." As Jake looked down at his son's eager face, he felt a swell of courage within him. Maybe this was the moment to take a leap of faith. A chance to mend what was broken. "Okay," Jake said softly, stepping aside and motioning Kate to enter. "Let us talk." As she stepped across the threshold, the air felt charged with possibility. Maybe reconciliation was waiting on the other side of old wounds. Maybe they could forge a new path together. But as the door closed behind them, Jake's heart raced. What would come next? Would the conversation heal or break them even further? The questions lingered, filling the room with unspoken tension. He could only hope they were ready for the truth. The living room felt different as Kate crossed the threshold. The light from the window streamed in, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. Jake could feel the weight of every memory pressing down on him, forging the silence into something palpable. Tommy, blissfully unaware of the history between the adults, broke the tension with a smile. "Can I show you my room after? I have a huge Lego city." His excitement was infectious, a pure spark that made Jake remember why he wanted to keep family close. Kate chuckled softly, her nervousness fading slightly. "I'd love to see it, Tommy." She stood with a tentative smile, glancing around, her eyes landing on the faded photographs on the wall. "It's so good to see you both." Yeah," Jake started, his voice unsteady. "It's been a long time." The words hung heavy in the air, filled with everything left unsaid. Kate began but faltered, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I thought I had lost you for good." Jake swallowed hard, feeling regret pierce his heart. "You didn't lose me, Kate. I pushed you away." "Maybe I should have tried harder," she whispered, her gaze locking onto his. "I was hurt, but I did think about you. All those years." Jake's throat tightened. "After Mom passed, I didn't know how to reach out. Every time we talked, it just felt like diving into an ocean of pain." Tommy, sensing the gravity of the conversation, shuffled his feet, glancing between them, unsure what to do. "Can we talk about treehouses now?" he piped up again. The innocence of his question cut through the heaviness. Jake chuckled despite himself, grateful for the distraction. "Soon, buddy. But I think this conversation is important, too." "Okay." Tommy looked at Kate with wide eyes. "But can you help me build a really big one?" Kate's eyes softened, and she nodded. "Absolutely. But we need to come up with a plan first. That's how cool treehouses get built." Jake watched as the two of them connected, his heart swelling. Perhaps there was hope yet. He turned back to Kate. "It's just I'm scared. Scared of getting hurt again. Scared of losing my connection with you all over again." "It's okay to feel that way," Kate said softly. "After everything, it's natural. But I want to help us heal, Jake. We can't change the past, but we can build something better for the future." Her words echoed in his mind. Over the years, healing had felt like a distant dream, yet here she was, extending an olive branch. "Do you think it's too late?" Jake asked, his voice trembling with vulnerability. He wanted to believe in the possibility of change but wasn't sure how to take that leap. "Never too late," Kate replied, her gaze steady. "If you're willing to try, I am too. We can be a family again, one step at a time." As Jake looked at her, determination started to form in his heart. Maybe it was time to move beyond the past. Maybe they could finally have that conversation that had been years in the making. Tommy leapt up, his eyes alight. Then it's decided. We can be the best family treehouse. The laughter that followed echoed in the room, softening the edges of the past. As they began discussing plans for treehouses that summer, Jake felt a flicker of hope ignite. But would this fragile bond hold when faced with deeper truths? As they plotted their new adventures, Jake realized they hadn't even begun to scratch the surface of the emotions waiting to be unleashed. How much of their past would they have to confront to truly start anew? The planning session for the treehouse quickly turned into a flurry of excitement. Tommy bounced around the room, detailing his grand vision while Kate listened intently, her face glowing with a warmth Jake had missed for so long. The laughter and ideas flowed, filling the spaces of the living room like sunlight. I think we should make it 2 stories. Tommy declared, gesturing wildly, almost knocking over a lamp. 1 level for me and my friend, and the other for snacks. Snacks are essential, Kate agreed playfully, a lightness in her voice that brightened the air. Jake couldn't help but smile, watching as their playful banter evolved into genuine teamwork. He realized that they were starting to weave new memories into the fabric of their relationship. As the conversation lightened, a shadow came over Jake's heart. What if underneath this joyful plan lay the same old hurt? He had let the past linger far too long. Just as hope started to take root, uncertainty crept back in. Okay, let us make a list of the materials we need, Kate suggested, breaking his reverie. And then we should brainstorm some designs. Right. Tommy shouted, running to grab his drawing pad from the other room. Jake watched him go, then turned to Kate, the room feeling charged with unfinished conversations. Can I ask you something? He ventured, trepidation lacing his words. Of course, she replied, her eyes wide with curiosity. What really happened the day we stopped talking? His voice came out softer than he intended, guarded yet yearning for the truth. Kate paused, her expression shifting. It was a terrible day, and I never wanted it to end like that. I thought you needed space. I didn't realize you could still be hurting. Jake felt a knot in his chest tighten. I thought you were moving on without me. That I was Jake, you were never just the past to me, she interrupted gently. Her voice quivered with emotion. You were always a part of my heart. Even when I didn't show it. He could hear the weight behind her words. I couldn't reach you. I thought you were angry, and I was lost, she finished for him, her eyes shimmering. They lingered in silence, the air thickening with all they had held in for so long. Just then, Tommy burst back into the room, grinning ear to ear. Look! I drew it. It's the best treehouse ever. He opened the pad to reveal an ambitious, albeit childlike, drawing filled with vibrant colors and outrageous features: a slide, multiple levels, and even a lookout tower. It's amazing, buddy. Jake said, clapping for his son. The joy was infectious, if only for a moment. Now can we build it? Tommy bounced on his toes, eager for affirmation. Absolutely, Kate smiled, leaning forward, her energy brightened by their son's excitement. But first, we need to make sure we have a solid plan, like a family project. Jake felt a surge of hope wash over him. Maybe they could turn this treehouse into more than just wood and nails. Maybe it could symbolize their transformation, but questions still loomed at the edges of his mind. What if building it meant confronting things he wasn't ready to face? Would revealing deeper emotions threaten to tear them apart once again? The evening sun dipped low, casting a golden hue over them. Jake took a deep breath, feeling the warmth from his family beside him. What if we start our family project with a promise? A promise to always talk, no matter how hard it gets. Tommy looked between them, puzzled but excited. I like promises. Is this a family promise? Yes, Kate affirmed, her voice strong and reassuring. We make this promise together. Jake's heart raced as he nodded. They were on the edge of something new. But was he ready to share the deeper truths of his heart? Just as they settled into planning, the phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number, and his stomach turned. He opened it slowly, his pulse racing. The message changed everything. "It's time to speak the truth, Jake." He froze, the cheerful sounds of Tommy and Kate faded into the background. What truth lay ahead, and was he ready to confront it? Jake stared at the phone, the weight of the message hanging in the air like a thick fog. He felt the room around him fade away, leaving only the thudding of his heart in his ears. The laughter from Tommy and the gentle warmth of Kate grew distant, as if he had stepped into another world, one riddled with questions and fears. "What is it, Dad?" Tommy asked, noticing his father's expression had shifted into a mix of confusion and anxiety. Jake swallowed hard, trying to pull himself back to the moment. "It's nothing, buddy," he said, forcing a smile that felt brittle on his face. "Just a wrong number." But even as he said the words, something deeper churned inside him. The unknown sender's words echoed in his mind. "It's time to speak the truth." "Everything okay?" Kate's voice was gentle, yet it felt like a spotlight shining down on him. He met her gaze, seeing the worry there, as if she could see through his facade. "Yeah, really," he lied, but the lie felt heavier than the truth he was hiding. He couldn't shake off the foreboding sense that whatever was coming was more than just an inconvenient message. "Let's get back to the treehouse," Tommy chirped, excitedly pulling him back to the moment. "Can we add a climbing wall?" "Sure. Why not?" Jake replied, shaking off his thoughts as he tried to focus on his son's enthusiasm. As they delved back into the plans, sketching more outlandish ideas from Tommy's vivid imagination, Jake felt a tension building within him. The exhilaration of family creativity clashed with the static uncertainty of what lay ahead. He wanted to be present, to let joy fill the spaces carved out by years of miscommunication, yet a part of him worried about the cracks underneath this facade of happiness. Hours passed, the sun dipping lower, the gold light spilling into the room, turning everything so warm and hopeful. But with each passing minute, the darkness of his thoughts loomed larger. "Okay, team," Kate said, breaking the subject. "We've got all these ideas, but we need to decide how to start. Wood, nails, tools, what's our first step? Can I use the toolbox in the garage?" Tommy beamed. "Absolutely, champ," Jake smiled, ruffling his son's hair. Yet even now, Jake could feel the tension building. A single moment of reckoning loomed on the horizon. As they cleaned up, his phone buzzed again, this time insistent. He hesitated, and when he finally looked, it was another message from the same number. "You can't run forever, Jake. The truth won't stay buried." He felt his stomach drop. Each word was a tightening knot of dread. What truth? The words surged in his mind, threatening to spill over. "Everything all right?" Kate asked again, her voice softer now, as she looked at him with puzzlement and concern. Jake opened his mouth to speak but could only manage a faint nod. The moment didn't feel right to share his inner turmoil. Could he risk unraveling the fragile piece they'd just started to build? "Let's finish this project together," he said instead, his voice filled with a determination he didn't quite feel. "One step at a time, right?" "Right." Tommy cheered, blissfully unaware of the battle within his dad, yet a new certainty washed over Jake. Whatever awaited him next wasn't just about him anymore. It impacted Kate and Tommy too. Would he be brave enough to face it head-on for the sake of his family, or would the shadows of his past pull him back into silence? Jake glanced at Kate, her eyes filled with hope and encouragement, and in that moment, he felt the weight of decisions pressing down. As night began to blanket the sky, uncertainty hung thick in the air. The truth was coming, and it threatened to change everything. What would he do when it finally arrived? The evening crept on, shadows lengthening around them as they worked on their project. The sound of hammers and laughter mixed with the cool breeze flowing through the open window. But within Jake, the turmoil stirred like a storm ready to break. As Tommy dashed in and out, fetching tools and supplies, Jake found himself lost in thoughts that spiraled ever deeper. "Dad! Look at this!" Tommy shouted, waving a particularly proud drawing of his dream treehouse, arms flailing with excitement. The child's joy was infectious, and for a brief moment, Jake felt a warmth spread through his chest until reality crashed back in. Jake forced a smile and leaned down beside Tommy. "That looks incredible, buddy. The best treehouse ever." He meant it, he really did, but all he could think about was that message. "You can't run forever." Kate returned from the kitchen, an expectant smile on her face, before she caught the hint of something off in Jake's expression. "What do you think, Jake? Are we ready to get started?" "Yeah, let us do it," he replied finally, though the weight of his own words felt heavy. The construction seemed to represent something more than just wood and nails. It felt like a promise he was struggling to keep. They worked in harmony, the three of them. Tommy's laughter blended seamlessly into the steady rhythm of their tasks, yet Jake couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom suffocating his heart. Every laugh from Tommy and every nod from Kate felt like a fleeting moment of bliss he was terrified would shatter any second. As they paused, sitting together on the porch with wood shavings scattered around them, Jake's heart sank. What if the truth he had avoided for so long came crashing down? "It's a perfect night," Kate said, her eyes sparkling in the twilight. "I love moments like this." "Yeah, me too," Jake murmured, though his mind was racing. He wanted to open up, to confide in her, but the fear of what that truth would unveil held him back. "Do you think we could finish the treehouse by summer?" Tommy asked, bouncing with anticipation. Jake ruffled his hair again, forcing another smile. "Absolutely, champ. With your ideas, we'll have the coolest treehouse on the block." Kate laughed, but within that laughter, Jake detected a shadow of doubt. "Jake," she began softly, "are you sure everything is okay? You've been so quiet tonight. Is something bothering you?" He felt pinned by her gaze, a gentle push toward the honesty he was terrified to share. The increasing pressure from his phone felt like a threat looming over them, and yet he retained a facade of normalcy. "I'm fine, really," he replied, yet even he heard the uncertainty in his own voice. Kate studied him, her dark brown eyes a mirror reflecting concern and care. "You know you can talk to me, right? Whatever it is, we'll face it together." That moment hung between them, thick with unsaid words. Jake wondered if sharing his burden would strengthen their love or unravel the very fabric that held them together. "Thanks, Kate. I just need some time to process things," he finally said. "I want to give this family my best. I want to protect you and Tommy." Time streamed through their fingers as the night thickened, an anguished longing vibrating in Jake's heart. What if he never found the courage to speak? Would silence be worth the price of their happiness? The phone buzzed again, slicing through his thoughts, a stark reminder that the truth was relentless. It was another message, another weight added to the pile. "You think you can hide forever, Jake? The truth is waiting." Jake sat straighter, the dread pooling in his stomach. They were building something beautiful, but in the back of his mind, a dark shadow threatened to topple their fragile hopes. How much longer could he keep the truth at bay? Would he stand firm when it finally broke free? The steady thrum of his heart felt like a countdown, the walls closing in. Tomorrow would come, and with it, the truth that might bring devastation or liberation. Jake felt the urgency rise within him, and in that moment, he realized he could no longer keep running. What would happen when the truth finally caught up with him? The morning light broke through the curtains, spilling shards of brightness across the room. Jake lay awake, heart racing, as he stared at the ceiling. The weight of his decision pressed heavily on him, suffocating beneath layers of unresolved thoughts. The phone buzzed insistently on the nightstand, echoing his internal chaos. "Come on, Jake," he whispered to himself, taking a deep breath as he swung his legs over the side of the bed. The aroma of coffee drifted in from the kitchen, a comfort that felt almost out of reach. Rolling the heaviness from his shoulders, he picked up his phone. With trembling fingers, he glanced at the screen. Another message. You're running out of time, Jake. Face your reality. He sighed, the familiar knot tightening in his stomach. What did it mean to face his reality? The weight of his secret grew heavier with each passing day, and he felt himself crumbling underneath it. He stood up, forcing himself to shake off the anxiety. In the kitchen, Tommy was already at the table, shuffling colored pencils and paper in a chaotic masterpiece. Kate was pouring coffee, her eyes bright, illuminating the gray clouds hanging over him. Morning. She beamed, though there was a flicker of concern lingering behind her smile. Sleep okay? Yeah, just took a while to wind down, Jake replied, forcing a grin. He watched as Tommy's excited chatter filled the room, carefree and innocent, unaware of the turmoil brewing under the surface. Dad! Can we draw more designs for the treehouse? I want it to have a slide that looks like a dinosaur. Tommy's eyes sparkled with creativity, brightening the messy kitchen around them. Absolutely. Let us get those ideas flowing, Jake said, enthusiasm fighting against his rising dread. As they gathered around the table, markers and crayons sprawled before them, Jake tried to immerse himself in the joy spilling from Tommy. They drafted wild designs, a splash of colors, laughter, and dreams. For a moment, his heart raced for different reasons, and he basked in the warm glow of family love. Yet, somewhere in the back of his mind, the phone buzzed again, a ghost of his unspoken truth lurking. Hey, Tommy, Jake said, and with a gentle nudge, he steered the conversation away from design. What are you most excited about for the summer? The slide, he replied immediately, bouncing in his chair. But also you and Mom being there with me. I really want to have fun. Jake's heart clenched. The love in Tommy's voice swept through him like a tidal wave, reminding him of what was truly at stake. But the shadow of his secret loomed large, its pressure felt in the silence that hung after Tommy's words. Tommy, the words twisted on his tongue. He wanted to tell them everything, to scream it into the air and free himself from the shackles of his own doing, but fear gripped him. What if the truth fractured their family? Kate looked at him, her brow furrowed. Jake. Jake met her eyes, those deep pools of compassion. There was no hiding. The moment he dreaded had arrived, that pulse of truth pulsing beneath the surface, demanding to break free. I love you both so much, he breathed, hoping the words would fill the distance he felt growing. And I want us to be. The phone chimed again, cutting through the moment like glass shattering. It was relentless, echoing the storm of emotions inside him. Jake glanced at it, the despair threading through him like poison. Jake. Kate's voice was steady, but there was a small tremor of concern lurking there. He knew he could not put off the inevitable any longer. He felt the fire rising within him. The truth demanded to be spoken, to be released. What would he say? Could the revelations transform the bonds between them or crumble their world entirely? Jake looked from Kate to Tommy, feeling the weight of their innocence pressing on him like a heavy cloak. It was now or never. Guys, I need to tell you something important. The air thickened around him, charged with anticipation. Whatever lay ahead could spin their lives in a new direction. Would love hold strong in turbulence, or would the very fabric of their family be torn apart? He took a deep breath and prepared to step into the void. Would they understand? Could he finally find the courage to face the truth? Jake's heart pounded in his chest, the room waiting breathlessly for him to utter whatever tethering truth had clawed its way to the surface. The chilling silence hung thick, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath alongside him. He could feel the warmth radiating from Kate and Tommy, their steady presence a lifeline he desperately needed. Guys, Jake began again, his voice barely a whisper, for a while now, I've been keeping something from you. He met Kate's gaze. There was an endless well of support and warmth in her eyes, yet he couldn't shake the fear that twisted his gut. What if the truth shattered everything they built together? I messed up, he stammered, the words spilling out like water from a cracked dam. There's something I haven't told you both. Something that's been eating at me. Tommy tilted his head, brows knitted together in confusion. Dad, what is it? His little boy's innocence tugged at something deep within him, the way a lifeline pulls someone back from the brink. Jake's thoughts scrambled as the truth danced on his lips, both a bomb and a blade. Before we moved here, I made some choices that changed everything, he said, hesitating. Words bounced around in his head like pinballs, struggling for release. A flicker of concern passed over Kate's face, a shadow replacing her initial sunny demeanor. What do you mean? She pressed gently, her voice sweet but firm. He inhaled deeply, sealing his eyes shut for a moment. There's someone I've been in contact with. A woman from my past. I never meant for it to happen, but we've been talking. The confession hit the room like a thunderclap. The air shifted, heavy with unspoken feelings and fearful glances. Jake opened his eyes, meeting Kate's shocked expression. I thought I could handle it, he hurried to say. I thought I could keep it under control. But it's been harder than I anticipated. Tommy blinked up at him, uncertainty clouding his young features. Does Mom know? He asked, innocent curiosity mixing with a maturity that felt too heavy for his small shoulders. The question struck like a spear, and it felt as if the ground beneath Jake gave way. No, buddy, she doesn't. I planned to tell her, but every time I thought about it, I just felt paralyzed. Are you still talking to her? Kate's voice trembled slightly, cutting through him like a sharp knife. Instinctively, he knew there was an uncharacteristic tremor in her tone, a pleading, a need for clarity. Jake swallowed hard. No. We ended things, but the emotional fallout, it's still here. I'm so sorry. I need you to know that I love you both, and I want to put it all behind me. He paused, trying to collect his thoughts, a storm building inside him. I didn't want this to come between us, but I also know I can't hide from the truth anymore. Why didn't you just tell me? Kate asked, hurt and disbelief warring in her expression. We could have figured this out together. The guilt suffocated him. I was scared of losing you, of seeing disappointment in your eyes. Disappointment? She echoed, the word heavy with weight. Jake, I'm not disappointed in you. I can't believe you would think that. Jake desperately scanned her face. Grief, rage, confusion, a mixture of emotions flickered and shifted. He felt their world balance on a knife's edge, and he wasn't sure if it would topple over. Mom. It's okay. It's okay, right? Tommy's small voice broke the tension. His innocence cut through the heavy emotions, and Jake felt both hope and despair wash over him. Kate knelt in front of Tommy, cupping his cheeks between her hands. It's going to be okay, sweetheart. We just need to talk. Jake stood rooted, heart racing, as the depth of his mistake hit him anew. Everything had changed in an instant, yet a small part of him felt relief. The truth was out, but what happened next felt far more daunting than his admission, yet looming upon the horizon was the question that would tether them all. Could love endure in the wake of this revelation? What now? As they exchanged glances, Jake's eyes flickered between hope and despair. He held his breath, waiting to see if they could weather this storm together or if they were destined to drift apart. Could a family hold on when faced with such raw honesty? As tension filled the room, a heavy silence settled. Jake's heart raced, listening to the soft, quick breaths around him. His admission hung in the air, a storm of emotions brewing just beneath the surface. Tommy's innocent question lingered, a reminder of the purity they all longed to protect amidst the chaos. Watching his son's face, Jake felt an overwhelming surge of love mixed with regret. Despite the turmoil, two important things pulsed through his heart: the eagerness to mend what was broken, and the fierce determination to protect what mattered most. Kate's eyes reflected an array of emotions: pain, confusion, but also an undeniable flicker of resolve. We need to figure this out, Jake. Her voice came out stronger than he expected. We'll take this one step at a time, okay? Jake nodded, his throat constricting as he tried to absorb the magnitude of this moment. There was a tangible shift in the air, a thread of hope woven into the fabric of pain. I want to fight for us, he promised, feeling the warmth of family wrap around him even in the face of unraveling truths. Tommy's small hand reached up, clutching Jake's. "We can all work together, right? Just like the treehouse." A smile broke through Jake's heavy heart. "Exactly, buddy. Just like the treehouse." A grin danced on Kate's lips at their son's unwavering spirit. "You know, building a treehouse is about teamwork, just like a family," she said, her eyes softening as she locked gazes with Jake. "It takes trust and communication. We'll build together." Jake swallowed hard. "I never meant to hide this from you. I thought I was protecting you both. I didn't want to drag you into my mess." Kate inhaled deeply, calming her racing thoughts. "You don't have to carry it all alone, Jake. We're in this together. But you have to share that burden with us. I need to understand so we can heal. We deserve that." His chest tightened at the vulnerability in her words. He wasn't facing this alone anymore. They stood on the precipice of what could be a different future, where love might still conquer pain. "I ended it," Jake pressed, the words heavy but essential. "I know that what I did hurt you, and I can't undo it. But you're everything to me, both of you. I want to build something better." Tears glimmered in Kate's eyes. "It's going to take time, but I believe we can heal together. I don't want our past to bind us. I want to look forward." As they each breathed heavier, Tommy piped in again, nudging the warring emotions. "Can we still have the slide?" Laughter erupted unexpectedly, breaking through the tension as Kate took Tommy's hand. "Yes. We'll make that slide the best one ever. We'll build it together, as a family." Jake glanced between the two of them, hope blooming like wildflowers in spring. They would face the healing together. "It's going to be a long journey, but we'll take it step by step." "Right. One step at a time," Tommy echoed, his enthusiasm contagious. In that moment, Jake felt a shift in the atmosphere. The sunset began to spill warm colors through the window, illuminating their faces. It bathed them in a soft glow, symbolizing the dawning of something new. Life would continue to come with trials, but they could find strength within each other's love. "Okay, what's next?" Kate asked, gathering the colored papers on the table. With renewed determination, they began talking through plans for the treehouse, the laughter returning, reminding them of the love buried beneath fears and misunderstandings. That laughter felt like home. Jake realized the truth might have been painful, but it opened the door to honesty and growth. Their family unit was on the horizon of transformation, a chance to rise from the ashes together. As they continued drafting together, Jake found the anxiety subsiding. Their bond grew stronger, fueled by open dialogue, understanding, and acceptance. He could see it vividly. The foundation of their treehouse was not just about wood but about the love they would build upon it, and, in the end, that warmth and commitment sparked a flame of hope within him, proof that faith and unity could illuminate even the darkest paths. He knew they could tackle this together. This was just the beginning of a new journey. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting vibrant colors through their living room, Jake whispered a silent promise. No matter what the future held, they would face it together, as a family. So, here it is, folks. What did you think about Jake and his family? Did their story pause your heart, just for a moment? If you felt the weight of their struggles or connected with their journey, now is the time to show your support. Subscribe immediately to this channel to not miss the next exclusive stories just waiting for you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help this beautiful narrative reach more hearts like yours. And don't forget to comment below and share your reactions and thoughts on this emotional ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformative story of love and healing. This is the moment to act. Don't wait not even one more second. True fans understand the importance of supporting content they cherish. Let us keep this community thriving.